Hello everybody, welcome to another day of Cosmoteer. Let's go ahead and jump back into the game. And I know I've been a little idle for a bit, but what we're going to do here is we're going to look at a ship that Joseph sent to me, which is this one right here. And I liked it so much as he made a little 18 crew. He made two different ones of them. And I kind of been working on this one extensively. So if you look at this one right here, and there's Hoshell right now, welcome. So this is the large reactor, and this was the original design. He didn't spend too much time into it, but you can see it has an engine room, it has two mining lasers on it, and then this one right here is the medium one, which convalesced. It's just an 18 cruise ship with two mining lasers on each side, so 4 mining lasers, and it's a really neat ship. But one of the first tests that I was doing versus it is, and I like the medium reactor a lot, but the large reactor works great too, is what I did was I was taking this ship and I was testing it versus this one. Now this 18 crew ship is 146,000 with 18 crew, and you can see this ship right here kind of almost always wins versus this other ship. And the main reason why, just the armaments, placement of armor is lighter. This one is significantly faster because of how small it is, how light it is, and with all those other armaments. Now this is a large reactor versus the medium reactor one is the one that I've always tested against. But even with a large reactor, I'm pretty sure this one wins just because of how it's built and how it's designed. It's a pure combat fast ship that was made to be able to take out a lot of different types of ships. And you can see here it won. So my goal was to make an 18 cruise ship to be able to beat this ship. And that was my mission, to go ahead and try to do that. So what I did was I made a whole bunch of other versions. You see 1.1, 1.2, 3, 4, and eventually I went all the way up to 1. And then I started changing the head armor, changing the speed, and I went all the way up to, let's take a 1.6 in here real quick. So you can see that there's a difference in it. So the difference is I moved the back parts right here. I moved the storage out to the wing. I moved the hyperdrive out to the wing. I changed a whole bunch of the, I guess it didn't really change the priorities on this one just yet, but I changed priorities on it. I changed a whole bunch of different things on it, but even still, with just 2 mining lasers, it still couldn't beat this one ship. Now we're still dealing with a medium reactor right here. A large reactor definitely does work better for significantly improving how the shields work and everything. But one of the biggest things that it had a problem with is, you see right here, these guys are walking around the reactor. I needed to fix this. And you can also see right here, it's wasting time for guys to walk around the reactors. So dedications to each one of the reactors was another thing that I had to completely change on. You'll also see right here, even with all this extra armor right here, because there's no real dedications for the shields, and because the people walking around like this, you'll notice that the mining lasers go out, you'll see the engine room goes out, the lasers go out, and because of this, because it's not optimized in full, this other ship still wins. You'll see right here, it's going to blow this other thing up. And you wouldn't think that should happen, but that's how that happens, just because of dedications. And so, started changing things around. I wanted the ship to move faster. It only moved about 50 to 60 milliseconds. So I started doing more changes, changed the head. And then eventually, we came and, Joseph and myself, we collaborated back and forth and made a different version. And this is where we made a different version, which is C18M 1.1. And this version right here, you're going to see, instead of just 4 mining lasers, there's now 6 mining lasers. But my problem with this one is the fact that we have this cockpit. It doesn't need 2 cockpits for what it is. And then you've got shields, and it's got this interesting shape going on. And you notice right here how it hits over here and it starts destroying all this. And they also replaced it to a large reactor. It also costs so much more. But it doesn't even go even near the speed of this one. This one goes fast. This one goes very slow. It's tanky, but it still goes very slow. Now it can beat this other one, but in maneuverability and tankability, in a fleet-to-fleet battle, this is cool and all for it to tank the other one, but we wanted to change it so it did more versions of that one. So you see right here, I started reducing the head armor, changing the head armor, and eventually I came up with this version right here, where the head armor is a lot more different. Reduce some of the weight on the sides, shaped it more so that it can actually be fleet-to-fleet battle. It's even slower now because it has even less thrust. But my main point right here was I was trying to fix the frontal head armor so that the frontal head armor could actually beat this one. We reduced it down to one single cockpit. So we didn't need two cockpits because instead of having two shields, 4 shields, we now only have 2 shields. And I noticed that on this particular battle, you can see how this other ship is still doing so much damage here. And this is where there's no dedications to the shields. This shouldn't happen, where you get damaged this much and see that the shields are still not coming up. So the change that I made to this, and eventually we come over and we'll just skip all the way down to 1.27, which is the one I'm working on right now. So 1.27, you see the head armor is reduced significantly more. A lot more thrust. We pushed out the energy manipulator. We added dedications, and this is probably the most important part that people don't realize, is you take the shield power guys, see this guy right here? And even though they are dedicated just to the shield, well, the problem that I had before is these guys were walking around, he was walking all around to try to produce on this one, is you want them to stay on this side of the ship. Just like this, you want this to stay on this side of the ship. Now the main reason why they do all these other things is not because they're dedicated for it, it's just as a backup. You notice they all have 3, 3, and then everything else is 8 and 9. Or even here supplying the battery for the cockpit is 3 and 3. So even though they're assigned this, it's only for backup. Their main priority is just the shields. And you'll notice right here that the damage that this thing will take is significantly less just because I have 2 guys dedicated to this small shield, 2 guys dedicated to this small shield. And so basically you reduce the damage significantly more. The other problem that I was having with the ship as well was engines. So to fix the engines in the back, what we did here is we made another one. We took the default one, we copied this row, pasted another row, and then we changed it to thrusters. But the only thing we changed to thrusters is we took mining lasers, and this is an 8, and we pushed thrusters to also be all 8s instead of 6s. So if you look over here at this row right here, these are all 6s. Where all we did for the thrusters is we made these an 8. So it's the same priority as the extra spine battery for this. And then we made sure that they're dedicated. Well, they're not dedicated at all. You see how they're free floaters? So what they do is they'll run and they'll do the same dedications. They'll still provide power to the mining lasers, but they also provide power to the thrusters because they noticed the thrusters were going out of power on long battles. So now you have these guys, and instead of just 18 crew, we've now changed this to a 20 crew ship. Now one of the biggest things that I kind of want to change is I've noticed that these pieces of armor are not ever really getting hit, and I kind of wanted to strip these down. Hoshell did give me another version to strip it down to make it even faster. So the next test that it did would be this one. And this test, I still haven't been able to build a ship to beat this ship yet. But taking my most newest version 6 cannon, and then taking 4 of these guys, which is just the next stage that we're trying to do, which is just 80 crew worth of ship, almost the same cost, and try to beat 4 of these guys versus 1 of these. That's the next goal, to try to beat here as a full-on swarmer. Now the other ships, the really fast ones, they don't even stand a chance against the 6 cannon ship. But 4 of these guys actually do stand a chance because they maneuver pretty well, they tank pretty well. Even though you lost the whole side of this ship, these mining lasers are still hitting. They tank pretty decently versus the 6 cannon. And a front-to-front head-on, obviously if they get hit from the sides, they get wiped out. Just like how that one just got wiped out. But if they're in a front-to-front, the deck cannons are firing on them, they tank pretty decently. And so that's the main goal, is these little tiny mining laser ships. So if you're playing in career mode, the idea behind it is you spam a whole bunch of these guys, they come in from behind, and they can take out different sections. Or at least that's the thought process behind it. That's what we're trying to build. And you can see right here the 6 cannon deck cannon ship totally wipes those other ships out. But it did do a decent amount of damage to him, but it just doesn't do enough damage. And that's where I've been trying to figure out what to change on this ship. But I really like the design that Hoshell has brought here, Hosep has brought here. So this is such a great design, and I'm liking it a lot. I'm liking how there's 6 mining lasers on this. It's very cheap. It's easy to construct. It's easy to build. The one downside is the large reactor is probably very expensive to make. And then my other concern about this as well is speed. It only goes about top speed around 60. So it doesn't fly just as fast as I want it to. I want it to go like 80. But it needs a tankability to actually be a part of a tanky ship. Because in some cases it does rip apart this ship a lot. With the new AI, you see how it spins around and it keeps trying to target the closest one. I believe that these ships do eventually do enough damage that could possibly win versus the 6.6 cannon. As you can see, it's wiping out or trying to wipe out. It never ever does it. That's the downside of mining lasers, is all the damage is slow, very slow, but consistent, and it doesn't make things go boom. So that's one of the biggest downsides of deck cannons and ammo, is they can go boom and they can explode and they can take out much more bigger sections as the deck cannons explode. And then they can cause fires. But with mining lasers, it doesn't do that. And actually, you can see right here, these 4 mining laser ships do actually win versus this one in this scenario, just because it's not moving around and it's getting stuck or pinned down in certain sections. Yeah, I'm really liking the mining laser ships. With them adding this addition, once they can actually add like deck lasers or something like that, or if the developer ever adds those in, that's definitely one of the biggest things that I've been trying to look for. You can see all your damage is in the back of your ship. The front of the ship is well protected. It's got decent speed. It doesn't really have any protection in the back, but that's not what these small itty bitty ships are for. They're meant to do exactly what they just did right here. Supporting ships to help take out other ships. So I'm thinking this design actually came out pretty good. The one ship that I had just before the stream that I was working on was 1.6. And you can see, well here, 1.6, let me just show you the difference of what I was doing from this to this one. This one still has the energy manipulator and only 2 thrusters, so it was a lot slower. So it didn't maneuver as well, but the energy manipulator, this was here for the career game, to help with repairs and other things, but I don't think this ship should do that. This ship should just be a combat ship as a supporting scout. I'm thinking of it like StarCraft, you know, the career carriers and these little supporting little tiny mining laser ships come out. So that's why I ripped off the energy manipulator, added in more thrust to allow them to come in, be a little tanky, and just do damage that it's supposed to do. Now in comparison, because with the new AI, you see how the ship keeps turning and turning? These other ships, they used to be able to actually take them on. And I know this ship doesn't look like it's anything neat or anything, but this ship right here was significantly faster. It goes at 90 something. Can't remember the exact speed. But for these guys, the deck cannons, they don't even stand a chance. Because they're not armored enough. They don't have enough frontal armor. They don't have enough side armor. All the weaponry is actually in the front of the ship, so if you come over here and you take out these weapons, then it just can't do the damage. See how it just takes it out? So that's why those 20 crew mining laser ships are better in tankability. You can see right here, it just blew those other ships. These other ships are fast, they can maneuver around, they do a decent amount of damage, but there's not enough protection for the weapons. There's not enough protection for the ship from different angles. As you can see right here, these 6 deck cannons completely wipe out these other ships. Even though they're cool and small, and they can definitely swarm, they don't even stand even near of a chance from these new versions that we just built right here. So the other thing that I wanted to build out on this one too, and I know we're not really testing this too much, is it needs a tiny bit of protection. This was just the bare minimum, but we do need a tiny sliver of armor right here. to help protect the shield. So if this blows up, then this has to come over here to help protect this. And I think that was the finalization that I wanted to do on that one. And then I'm also trying to figure out, do I want this thruster here or do I want this thruster out? And the main reason this thruster is here is so the power can come to it quicker instead of this pushing all the way out over here. And then I wanted to have some kind of a little bit more protection for the back, but the point of it is still to be a cheap, tanky ship. So we're just going to move this version up to 0.8, 1.2.8. And I think that's what we're going to actually end up with, 1.12.8. So the other thing that I was also trying to test here too, we need at least 3 of these guys to test it, is I was coming over here and I was looking at this mining laser. And I already started to modify this one after I saw the differences on the two. Now the differences in the two is you see these mining lasers are facing this way. But I've noticed that one of these, this one or this one, they run out of power. So in order to fix that, I made another version of this to rotate this another way. And then I also have to fix the shield problem on this ship as well. But you notice that there's only 3 mining lasers, 3 liner emitters, so there's only 6 mining lasers. Same thing like these. This one costs significantly more because it has the large shields, and then you have layer stacking, you have more shields plus more disruptors. It has the engine rooms, and it has all of these point defenses for in career mode to help you stop those missiles, nukes, other type of deck cannons, projectiles flying at you. The point defenses help significantly. And you can see 3 of these guys can wipe out this one ship. So let's go ahead and wipe this out. There's actually too many. It's only supposed to be 50 crew. So it's supposed to be 2 of them. I'm sorry, not 3. It's supposed to be 2. There's a 50 crew versus 40 crew. Kind of near. Is it near the same cost? 100,000 some odd less. But what I was trying to do is I was actually facing one of these versus this because it's the same amount of mining lasers I was thinking, but it doesn't even compare because this has a large shield plus all these smaller shields plus all these disruptors lasers. So in a 1v1 you can see it's taking this because the disruptors are not actually hitting here, because when you're actually up against it. And this is interesting. I didn't know that this would happen, but this is why I want to cover this section up. So in a swarming capability, you see right here, these 2 ships, they actually get stuck to each other. But the nice thing about these mining lasers is they can fire over other ships. They can't fire over the actual other mining laser because you can see they're interrupting each other. But this section right here, I definitely want to close up. But you can see right here, in this circumstances, 2 of these guys still beat this one. Because this one ship right here tanked once they get close enough, and these disruptors couldn't hit the actual shields. And I'm liking this tiny sliver of extra armor that I put on. Tiny bit of extra weight, but it adds that little tiny bit of extra protection just on the inside. When you lose this piece of armor, then this piece of armor can actually hold up. So it did exactly what I was hoping it would do. And that's where I was going to do. These 20 crew guys would replace this one for damage, but what it doesn't replace are these point defenses. But for the crew cost, 20 crew compared to 50 crew, and you can build these up first. So you notice that, remember in the career game, for people that have watched the career game, you have to build a smaller ship and upgrade the smaller ship to a bigger ship. So again, I was saying about these ones are facing forward. So what I did here after I saw the 2 designs is I went and now I was trying to edit this one right here. And so this one what I did was I rotated this laser. But the other problem that this 50 crew laser ship is having are these larger shields. This one and this one. They go out of power and then nobody's running to give them power. So you'll notice right here, after these mining lasers, they come and they wipe out this shield. There's nobody instantly going to feed the larger shield. I guess maybe they are right now. But they didn't get up the large shield fast enough. In fact, they got ripped off. But I do like that these mining lasers are now positioned a little bit different. But when I faced this 50 crew mining laser ship versus this old version, the old version won. once in a 1v1. I haven't done a 2 out of 3 out of it. But I'm thinking with the changing position, the main reason that they could have won is just because of the positioning. Because you see how the angle, once it gets too far, it no longer has the same angles. It can get power up constantly, but it doesn't. You can't do the same angles when you change it that way. So I'm actually considering moving one of these lasers at least back. I'm still contemplating that. But you can see 2 of these 20 crew ships, super deadly in swarming, flankability, and just 20 crew. It can manage with 18 crews bare minimum, but with 20 crews it functions so much more. There's always one laser that may go out, but usually all 6 of these lasers can stay up with just 20 crew members. And it can tank and it can do so much more damage than what you would think a little 20 crew ship could do. And I really, really like them. But this ship right here is what I was going to change. We're going to actually rotate this one back. Put the door back over here. Put this over here like this. We delete this. And then we're going to refix those dedications. And then this one right here was dedicated to this and this. And then resave this one as 0.3. As I battle test each one of the ships, I always keep working on them. So I know that you see all these different numbers. Anytime the ship starts getting older, I take these ships and I toss them into an older folder. And then I have a whole bunch of ships that are in the older. Tons and tons older. And then when I start getting obsolete, then I start deleting out other ships. Anyways, this one right here, I think has, and I may have to, I think that's a better angle for right here. So they don't run into each other. So when it moves over, that's what I'm trying to fix. Is I think this angle is better for this one so it still gets power. And then I don't like how you see how these frontal shields are out of power. Something's got to be fixed here. In fact, I already know what I want to fix on it. I'm going to do that next. So this one and this one need to be dedicated for shields, so the large shields and the smaller shields. So we're going to make crew members just for that. And then I want to dedicate it just for this side of the ship. But we have to do the same thing we did to this one, because you see this one right here, even though this guy's dedicated to this shield and this side of the ship, they also have backup plans for all of these as well. And I noticed I put in these thrusters and I didn't save it over for these dedicated to this. So these actually need the backup power for those thrusters as well. So what I need to do here is I like those placement of those lasers a little bit better. We're going to restart this one. We're going to take this right here. And we're going to take the dedications for this one and replace this back in. We're going to say this is 1.2.9. I think we're finalizing this ship because I'm liking it. Yeah, we'll put a 1.29 there. Throw a 1.28, put 1.29 in. This is kind of what I do on my off time when I have nothing. Like I go back and forth between a whole bunch of different ships and I edit each one as I go through. Now this one right here, what we need to change is there's the shield part. It looks like I have already supply shield rolls in here. This is 4, and this is going to be a 9 and an 8. And I'm actually going to reverse that. And then these guys have to be these two right here. And then this. Actually, I want to check to see what the default was. Is 8 and 8. So if I make them 9 and 9. Yeah, I'm actually going to do that because I don't want to break it too much. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually copy this roll, make a new roll. We'll call this one Shield 2. Like a spell. I can't spell. I don't even know how to spell shield, do I? It's okay. Something and paste in. Not that I'm doing it the way I want. There you go. Job, replace info, job priorities. Oh. Okay, yeah. And then this one right here, we're going to do funny color, and this is going to be called Shield 2. And then this one right here, we're going to make both of these a 9. These guys will be Shield 2. Okay. Let's see how much we broke this. Number 4. Click over here, place this in here. And then what I wanted to do after that is I wanted to make I still don't know how to do it. Go to Steam Workshop and place all these mining laser ships in the fleet for Steam Workshop. I also designed them all, and I have only just modified them to make them work the way I like to play. Okay, so now this is a 9 and 9. You see how the larger shields are going to stay up more? And they still have all the other priorities as a default. The only difference is they're more concerned about the shields first. I am noticing we're losing damage over here and damage over in other places. But I'm also not liking how there's a shield guy and a disruptor here. Do we already take out one? Now you see this one has thrust issues a little bit. So the guys have to supply the thrusters. So I see right here there's 2 shield guys in the lasers and then disruptors. That shouldn't happen. So we're going to have to edit the rule one more time to take that off. You can see it did tank a little bit longer, but it didn't do what I needed it to do. So what I need to do here is we need to come over here, we need to edit shield 2. Come to job priorities, we need to take operate down to a 7 and a 7 and a 7. We also need to make sure this is also a 7 and a 7 and a 7. And we're going to resave this one as, we'll just save over it. Yes. We just came to say daddy, okay. Now that we've changed priorities there, now you notice that none of them are actually sitting there. None of them are sitting there. Which is what I want. I want them just to focus on the shields. I may want the actual larger shields to be a 9. And the smaller shields to be an 8. Okay, both large shields haven't gone down yet. That one finally went down. We are definitely losing damage from when I did this change right here. But it's definitely more tankable. So their ship loses thrust. So this one right here, both of them, they already took out this one. This one, which is just like the same thing I was thinking, that's why these guys are dedicated for thrusts. As these smaller ships and longer battles. As you can see, its tankability for these 20 crew ships are still holding up versus this 50 crew one. Even with all those disruptors that help with the mining lasers and everything else, the way that this one's designed tanks very well still. Even though this one tanked pretty well. I don't know if I want to keep this version, but I did want to see if it was tankable. And we did do the test on this one, which is something I still need to work on, which is these thrusts. So these guys right here, the thrusters, they still should have tried to get those thrusters up. Which is this one right here. It's an 8 and an 8. I don't want to change these to a 9 because I still want them to be able to power the mining lasers. Because if I strip off this one and this one, which I have attempted to do in other versions too, if it changes to 9 and just for thrusters, and I never get power to the mining lasers during the battle, during combat, which is bad. Because I need these guys to still also concerned about actually doing mining laser damage as well as thrusters, because it needs both. But 2 of these guys, 40 crew members, can take on one of these 50 crew ones. Still gotta work on this one some more. Alright. Next battle test we can do here is we'll take this version. And this is 108 crew. And let's take 1.29. I think it's gonna have to do 5, honestly. I don't know. This one has a lot more mining lasers. It's got the disruptors, it's got a ton more shields, it's got the shape. This one has been heavily battle tested, but this might be too many. Yeah, it's gonna be too many versus it. Too many of these 20 crew ships, but you can see these 20 crew man ships is only 100 crew. Oh, it does cost way more. Okay. Yeah, 5 is too many for this. 5 too many. And it all depends on if they all stay in the front or they can hit from the sides. Yeah, I already took out the main front. But what I would like to try to do, and I know somebody recommended doing a Star Wars mod. I don't know where to get the Star Wars mod for the Steam Workshop. So if anybody, if you watch this, please let me know where the Steam or Starship Star Wars mod is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these is too much for this. Take them down to 2 to 4. 4 seems like more close to the same, similar cost, less crew, which is the whole objective of this. But you can see with each one of these guys having 6 mining lasers on them, they have penetrating power as long as they stay focused on whatever they're hitting, and they can stay hitting on the same thing. Deck cannons definitely have bigger burst damage, so that's nice to have. And the main thing that I've been playing is the most recent. I've mainly been playing 7 Days to Die because I'm really enjoying that game. I don't know why I keep coming back to it, but I come back to it and I enjoy it. Play it on harder difficulties. I'm trying to get the best, the longest I can survive without going down. But I've been enjoying that game. Doesn't do so well on this channel, but I enjoy the survival game on that one. 3 of these left. 1 did get destroyed. You can see right here it's going to destroy another one. So 4 of them. And yes, they did cripple the front of the ship, but they haven't taken out this. Now obviously if you're controlling 4 of these guys, it probably very much could take them out because you just focus down these sections right here. You take out the command deck and the cockpit control room. Or you focus out the back and you take out the actual reactor in the back and take out the reactor in the front. But yeah, these little smaller guys, they're doing very excellent. It's not really showcasing huge blow-ups or ion beams or any of the other things or missiles. But I really like these mining laser ships. They have come out significantly really cool. Now another ship that I do want to showcase here too is this one, which is has a 30 crew ship too. Holset built this one. The 30 crew ship is kind of neat, but I don't like the head on it. It's just a little too big. I wonder how it does versus the 20 crew ship actually. This one is a 32 crew? I think it's 32 crew. Yeah, there's 32 crew on this one. It has a gigantic head on it. It's really exposed in the back. But the concept and the idea is really neat. And I think it is going to win just because the large head, the large shield, two smaller shields, and then it doesn't have as many mining lasers on it, but it has these disruptors, and then it's the beginning of the point defenses. And the whole point was to build out these ships in increments, right? You get the 18 crew, which is what I had before, but this had to change to a 20 crew because it works a little bit better with 20. Then a 30 crew, then the 50 crew, and then the bigger one. The one in between, which I haven't optimized enough. And then the other one, which is the 108 crew, which also has a radar on it. And you can see this 30 crew ship, because its tankability in the front is so nice, but it's a little too slow for fleet to fleet. Still, it's a nice design, it's a nice concept. I would love to take this head armor right here and shrink it down to reduce its weight so its speed could be faster. That's probably the next thing I'm going to try to work on is this one right here, the 30 crew ship. This 20 crew ship definitely in the 1v1 you can see it doesn't actually hold up against this 30 crew ship, even though the costs. What I'm wondering is... oh, I know what I wanted to test against. I wanted to test against this one. This one hasn't been tested yet. So this is a 30 crew ship versus a 20 crew ship. This one though has far more armaments on it. You can see right here. There's 4 heavy lasers and 2 disruptors, and the way that it's designed with 4 small shields, and they're layer stacked, it actually has a much better chance of winning versus this one. Actually, I don't know. The mining lasers stop firing because they're not close enough. Yeah, it's not in range. The other guy's outranging him. We need to change the attack defaults on this thing. Because this guy has the same small thrusters for reverse thrust. But you see how they're outranging each other because of the attack defaults? And right there. That shouldn't happen. But it just did. So small ship versus another small ship. So what I need to do here is we need to fix that. So let's fix that right now too. Look at this one. No, wrong one. Nope. Maybe the attack defaults are pretty close. What's going on here? Okay, a little bit closer, and then we're gonna save the attack defaults, and then we're gonna re-save the ship right over itself. Oh, I saved it in the wrong spot. Now let's retry that. All I did was to change the attack defaults to be closer, so that it won't outrange itself. Small little details and things you gotta change just to make your ship a little bit better. Now I feel like it's super close, but I've noticed the ship actually does better when it's really close. Will it win now that it's like this? if it could rip off all the shields, which it's kind of doing. Yeah, I think it's gonna win. And it just did. And all I did was change the deck default just so that the mining lasers could actually keep going and do the damage to the ship. So that was what I was actually happy about, is this 20 cruise ship can beat that 30 cruise ship. Now the ship that it cannot beat would be the 51. Or can it? It's never been tested. Two of these small guys could definitely stand a good fighting chance with this one, but this one is still all in its own little league for 50 crew. Well, the other 50 crew mining laser ship I think can beat this one now. But I'm wondering if a 20 crew, well, the attack defaults are different. Only one side's really firing. And it's kind of almost like a ramming 20 crew ship now. Maybe that's what I should change this into, is a ramming diagonal 20 crew ship. What do you guys think? Yeah, the ship's got too much firepower. A ramming diagonal 20 crew ship. Let's give that a shot. So, to do that, I just have to do, oops, T. It's not letting me do what I wanted to do. I need to take the ramming. Okay, fine. We'll do it the easy way here. Let's show everybody how do you make a ramming ship, people was gonna ask. Come over here. You find a ship that actually can ram. Monolith combat. It's a ramming ship. It's a glider. The for sure ramming ships. What am I looking for? Was it a smasher? The Validator definitely is a ramming ship. Okay. Pretty sure, right? Yeah, the Validator's it. No, the Validator's stopping the thrusters. But it comes right up close. I guess it is still ramming. Okay. You take a ship that does have what it is, right? And all you do is you come over here and you... Here, let's do this. Take a ramming ship, come over here and you edit it. You select the entire ship and you just delete it. And then you come over here and you paste in your ship. But okay, I don't want the flight directions. Your flight direction attack defaults, you want to keep that. You can go the name, resources, crew, and paint design. But you flight direction and attack defaults, you keep the same. You change that, but because this is a diagonal facing ship, you have to come over here and you have to change the flight direction to actually face the right way. And so now, when we save this ship as 1.3.0, now we have a ramming one. So what this one's going to do here, as you see, it's going to come right behind this ship. And the attack defaults, it doesn't look like it's the same kind of ramming. That's what I'm thinking. for ramming, you're going to want it to stay stuck on the front. You don't want it to be stuck on the side, just like how this one is right here. So the front armor has to change significantly for this ramming to actually work. But I like the 1.29. Obviously for a ramming ship, a ramming diagonal ship, the whole front armor would have to change. So you would have to do something like this. You would have to completely change the entire front armor. This is where you want to actually add spikes in, and my building position's wrong too. So you want to actually add spikes in for grabbing. Wrong way. It happens when you load vertical ships, detect defaults into diagonal. Yeah. This and it looks so funny, but that's not what I really wanted to do. And then when you want to add some frames on the outside, you're gonna add like frame. Cause I want a kitchen. I want a kitchen. Obviously that's not really what you want to do, but I do it anyways. I'll just save this over like that. This is just having silly fun right now. Hey, 20 crew laser ship, impossible. Mines always block each other. Ah, Chris Moon. And so here we're gonna... It's always flying at this weird angle. I'm not liking the attack defaults at all on the thing. Because you're here, instead of being an orbiter instead of a ramming. So Chris Moon, mining lasers, this is the one that we're ending up with, is 1.2.9. This is the one that I'm gonna stick with. And then we just had the silly idea to maybe try to make this as a ramming ship. Which is just, it's not working the way I want it to. So instead I'm going to change. And I can see right here, that's what's wrong. There we go. That's what I want. And this right here, now we're gonna save the attack defaults. And now... Here, it's being silly. But the attack defaults are now correct. See how it's facing the right way? So it was rotated wrong. See this one? The R key was rotated the wrong way. And so now it should do what it wants. I gotta speed this up so that I can actually repair it and then save it. Okay, so this right here, we're going to repair, and then we're gonna save. And then we're going to clear everything because there's too much debris. And then we'll redo this. So now this one, you see right here, it's still rotated funny. See how it's rotated a little bit to the right? Should be rotated straight. But it's close enough. You see right here, now we're sticking them to the front like this. And now it's ramming with the thrusters, which is what it should do. So this would be a better version for a possible ramming ship. And you can see here, there's not enough crew to make that work, or the positioning of the actual thrusters are also not. Like I'd probably want to move stuff around to optimize the thrusters, because it needs more power in the thrusters in order for you to do something like this. But what would be interesting is, now we got 1.30 that actually works. What happens if we do this? We're just having silly fun now. 1.30 4 of these ramming guys. And again, the spikes are not optimized, and nothing's really set because I've never made a small tiny ramming, and this is not optimized to be a ramming ship at all. Just wanted to see, will it do what I want it to do? It's actually working. It actually works. So this would have to be optimized more. In some way, we'd have to fix this. We have to fix this. This is a little too wide. I want to fix this and fix this, but you can see it actually did work. Huh. Yeah, it did work. It really did work. Okay, well, let's fiddle with it some more. Okay, so this is just a little too far out. Let's shrink this down. Give this a little bit more. Oops. Undo. So I want this one to face this way. Grab. This one's done like this one or this. Maybe those ones. Maybe I want to face these the other way, so flip it. Yeah. .30 kind of works. Let's do 1.31. It's such an interesting concept. I've never thought of doing this. Going through companion with 80 crew mining laser ship inspired by you with some real good satellites. Pretty fun. Well, thanks, Chris Moon. I'm glad that the mining lasers inspired you. Oh, this is actually supposed to be four of these guys. Does 4 of these guys work? Now that's a little smaller on the outside grabbing ability. One ship still tanked enough. No, they didn't get in quick enough. Maybe the head still needs to be as wide as it was so that they give them enough berth so that they actually get in. Let's give this one more test and see if the head's too small. This little grabber might be a little too small. My only gripe is the static damage against shields. Shields never felt so powerful. This is very true. Mining lasers do not do enough damage to shields. But mining lasers do great damage versus armor or other things. It really rips apart armor. But versus shields, that's where you get like EMP missiles, Chris Moon, or enough disruptors so that the shields can be taken off. I'm guessing the smaller head just doesn't work. We'll go back to 1.30. Was it just a fluke the last time that first time won? Or does these actually work? Does this work? The bigger head makes it so they fly a little bit further apart. And then, yeah, so that they can get in like this. And they give each other more space. Oh, still rip one apart. Yeah. Bigger head. Oh, it's gonna blow that one up. I mean, they did a ton of damage to the side. That's an interesting concept. I would totally want to change everything, but the frontal head looks like being more wide in a swarming pattern, as you can see, gives each other's ship a little bit more space to move, because they don't want to ram into each other. And then being a ramming ship, they need to optimize the thrusters more, and we'd have to fix a whole bunch of other things. But all in all, the ship I want to stick with is 1.29. So let's actually take 1.29 and make sure we save this where we want it so that we don't forget it. So we're going to take 1.29. We're going to save this one as part of the fleet. Come back to my ships. This one's going to be right here, and we're going to upgrade this one to 3. So this one, the name that I just did, is now right here. There's 1.3, and then there's this one right here. Wondering if the 20 crew versus that 18. This is the 18 crew that I stopped at that I thought I was really good. Christmas says probably should have gone disruptors instead of making middle arrays for hours. Again, isn't the damage able to focus better when it's spaced a little away instead of head on like that? This is true. The main reason why we're doing the ramming thing was just to play on ideas. We're seeing what could be done. So here's the 18-man crew ship, which I really like. It's closer to the original design. It just was changed where we put the car storage bay here and we put the hyperdrive over here. But the thing about this 18 crew ship is you see right here, these guys have to walk all around, and this is only a medium reactor. For this one, these guys are limited to just walk in, shields, and then 2 guys. The small shields back up. But I'm pretty sure I changed this. This is why this one's in there. I did a lot of work on this 18 crew ship. But you can see right here, it's out of power for the mining laser, out of power for the mining lasers. For this one, only 2 of these ones are out of power, and that's mainly because there's just not enough crew members for it to stay fully optimized with the amount of damage it's taking back and forth. But mainly about 5 of the mining lasers are always up. The 6th one comes up every now and then. Now this one right here, the power's still out because only 18 crew. But the main reason why the power is out is because you see how these guys are walking around the reactor like this? This takes too long to go back and forth because there's no dedications back and forth. And that's why this ship loses, because this one has optimization with shield in, and this guy's dedicated to this side of the ship. There are free floaters. Well, I guess I didn't have any free floaters on this ship. See how each one is dedicated to one side of the ship? This guy's dedicated to this side of the ship. These guys are dedicated to this side of the ship. And then these guys can do in between. But mainly, most of these guys are segregated for the side of the ship they're supposed to be on. So they're not running around the reactor that way. And also there's that extra space in case they do need to go on this side. So they're not spending the time within the medium reactor. Not the same comparison. 18 crew versus 20 crew. Large reactor versus medium reactor. 6 mining lasers versus 2 mining lasers. But you can see right here, cost-wise, it's very, very close, same cost rates. But this one I've spent a lot more time working on. This one I did spend a lot of time working on as well. But it's not optimized in front-to-front battle as much as this one is. Now the original design, you can see right here the shields. These small shields are actually facing outward. So I took Close-Up's design and we actually changed it, just so you all can see the original design. The medium reactor, if you take the medium reactor one, you can see the shields are actually facing outward. Which is good if you're trying to protect the disruptors. But I don't want to protect the disruptors, I want to protect the middle. Where this one right here is the newer one, which is the one that I ended up on that I liked a lot. I'm still keeping the design because I like it a lot. But with the shields facing inward, and the only difference is it's just if we could dedicate the crew to this side of the ship, and dedicate the crew to this side of the ship, and then dedicate guys just for the actual the shields, so they're not running all around the reactor. See how they're running around the reactor? This is a waste of time. See how they're still running around the reactor? And that is not optimized. And then this one right here, you see the shields, the original shields are facing outward. doesn't help when you're doing damage straight down the middle. For the original versus this one, the newer one bends. Just from some tiny little optimization, tiny little changes. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. If you enjoyed this content, please feel free to hit the like button. Helps me out a ton. Helps to push out this content to other people, bring awareness to it. If you like, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, especially what you don't like so that I can improve and make better content. If you have not already, please feel free to subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, that's okay as well. Come back once a week, once a month. Check out what content I have. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. And you all have a wonderful rest of your day.